Hello YouTube, Freddie Cardona here. Welcome back to another episode of Driving and the News. Today is February 14th, 2023. It is Valentine's Day. It's also my wedding anniversary, so we'll be taking Miss Cardona out for dinner tonight. I'm not feeling too good, not feeling too well, got a sore throat, a little bit of a headache, but we're gonna soldier on. Let's get you guys the news.
Looking good. Looks like Super Bowl 57 was good for Fox. Sunday's Super Bowl was the third most watched television show in history, with an estimated 113 million people watching the Kansas City Chiefs rally to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles. Rihanna's halftime show averaged 118.7 million viewers, making it the second most watched Super Bowl halftime show in history. Katy Perry's 2015 performance still holds the top mark at 121 million. According to Adobe Analytics, the digital feed averaged a Super Bowl record 7 million streams. That's an 18% increase over last year and more than double Fox's 2020 Super Bowl. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
When family gets older or if they require special assistance, it can feel like a full-time job. Well, maybe it can be your full-time job. If you're a New York resident, you can get paid a competitive salary plus benefits to care for your family members through the Personal Touch CDPAP program. Learn more today. Call 718-368-6222. That's 718-368-6222. Getting paid to spend time with the people you love? Yes, please. Personal Touch Home Care.
We give you that personal touch. Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thank you for making 1010 Wins your number one choice for news in New York.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning, 41 degrees. It is 7:40 on this Tuesday, February 14th. I'm Susan Richard, and here's what's happening. Michigan State, the scene of another deadly mass shooting. 4 people, including the shooter, are dead. 5 more critical. 1 person was killed, 8 injured when a U-Haul driver plowed into cyclists in Bay Ridge. Our Samantha Liebman coming up. Another Republican has jumped into the 2024 race for president. The Senate to get a classified briefing on all those objects the military's had to shoot down. And it looks like kids at Ridgewood High are going to get to sleep in. We'll explain. In sports, Knicks beat the Nets. 10-10 wins AccuWeather. Sunshine later today, the high 54. Wins News Time 7:41. Let's get traffic and transit from Karen Stewart.
Let's check the Hudson River crossings. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The inbound George is half an hour for both the upper and the lower levels. The inbound Lincoln is 40. The inbound Holland Tunnel, that's got a 40-minute delay. Over in Jersey, the northbound New Jersey Turnpike trucks at 13. We've got an accident in the right and centers, of course. We are very heavy into the area. Southbound Garden State Parkway, still a mess to 139B in Union. This accident is not gone. It's in the left and center lanes. It's been there since 6:41, exactly an hour now. Eastbound 78 local lanes west of exit 58 for 1 and 9 in Newark. We've got an accident blocking the right, and we're still closed on Route 9 in Woodbridge. Southbound Route 9 is shut at New Brunswick Avenue. We have a jackknife tractor trailer out there. That's the reason for that. Now on the FDR, we're at it again on the southbound FDR, the Brooklyn Bridge. We have a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane on the exit ramp. We are jammed on the southbound FDR drive into the Brooklyn Bridge from back at Grand Street right now. Alternate side parking rules and regulations are in effect today citywide. And as far as mass transit goes, we still have PATH train delays on the Journal Square to 33rd Street line. Our next report is 7:51. I'm Karen Stewart. 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Another deadly mass shooting on a college campus in this country. This was at Michigan State last night, where 3 people were killed and 5 others are now critical. The 43-year-old gunman, who has no affiliation with the school, took his own life.
A student.
Everyone's freaked out. Everyone's terrified.
We were quickly on scene within minutes. Michigan State Interim Deputy Police Chief Chris Rosman. Security cam photos were posted on social media of the suspected gunman. Senior Dominic Malaki says he was in class Monday evening.
I heard a gunshot.
Then
Manhattan. The shooter came in our room and shot 3 to 4 times,
hitting 2 students. Police say the gunman was found dead at an off-campus location. An apparent suicide. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
MSU Interim President Teresa Woodruff.
It's something that's quite unimaginable, but has been imagined in other places and other times, but we just can't imagine that it's here. We're devastated at the loss of life, and we want to wrap our warm arms around every family that is touched by this tragedy.
No word yet on a motive. There were 2 incidents involving guns at 2 public schools here in the city yesterday. In Manhattan, police say an 18-year-old pulled a revolver on a 17-year-old student at the high school over on Clark Street in the West Village. On Staten Island, somebody fired shots outside PS 78 in Clifton. No one was hurt in either incident. So far, no arrests. Word that the U-Haul driver who plowed into a bunch of people in a chaotic scene yesterday in Bay Ridge was off his meds.
The son of the suspect, 62-year-old Wang Soar, telling the Associated Press his father is severely mentally ill and served time for several violent acts, including stabbing his own brother in Las Vegas, where he lived until moving to Florida recently. Councilmember Justin Brandon, who represents Bay Ridge, where most of the rampage took place, says what he said to police was disturbing.
Yeah, he said something to the effect of, "I want to die," something like that, and then he started driving on the sidewalk.
Soar allegedly struck 9 people starting just after 10 in Bay Ridge, driving through Sunset Park. A 44-year-old man was killed, 8 others injured. The NYPD Highway Patrol finally able to pin the U-Haul against a building near the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. Police Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell.
What we saw today is a clear example why every moment of every day the NYPD must be prepared for every possibility.
Soar now here at the 68th Precinct Station House awaiting charges. Samantha Liebman, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Bay Ridge.
Still no decision from the jury deliberating in the penalty phase of the trial of the terrorist who killed 8 people in the 2017 attack on a bike path in Lower Manhattan. Federal prosecutors have asked that Sayfullo Saipov be sentenced to death. The real feel right now is 32. We're at 41. Clear skies. Humidity is 46%. The wind's northwest at around 15 miles an hour. Later today, AccuWeather says sunny. It'll become less windy. A really beautiful day for Valentine's Day. The high 54. It is 41 now. Nikki Haley makes it official. She is seeking the 2024 GOP nomination for president.
It's time for a new generation of leadership to rediscover fiscal responsibility, secure our border, and strengthen our country, our pride, and our purpose.
The former South Carolina governor was UN ambassador under Donald Trump. Trump has already announced his candidacy. Well, today's the day we're going to see part of the report from the grand jury in Georgia that was looking into allegations of election interference by Trump and his allies. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis is yet to make an announcement about possible charges, and so the judge decided not to release the whole thing.
I thought that he listened to the arguments of the state and that his order basically did what we asked. So I'm very pleased with his order.
Well, this is the case involving Donald Trump asking the Georgia Secretary of State to find the 11,800 votes needed to overturn the win there for Joe Biden. The judge ruled that the opening and closing arguments can be released, along with a section in which jurors express concerns that several witnesses may have lied under oath. The full Senate to get a classified briefing today on the balloons, or whatever they are, that the U.S. military keeps shooting down.
The Secretary of Defense reassuring the American people.
These objects do not present a military threat to anyone on the ground. They do, however, present a risk to civil aviation and potentially an intelligence collection threat.
Potentially, but a senior U.S. official telling ABC News that thus far there is little indication that these 3 objects were anything more than weather balloons or some similar scientific craft.
That's Martha Raddatz. Beijing, meantime, now claiming that U.S. balloons are flying over China. They say there have been 10 of them in the past year. No other details except to say the United States should reflect on itself rather than smearing them and, quote, instigating a confrontation. A new plan by the feds could force some air traffic controllers on Long Island to move to Philly, and needless to say, they are not happy with that.
Here in Nassau County, the FAA facility in Westbury is called TRACON. The air traffic controllers here navigate air traffic from a number of airports, including Kennedy and Islip MacArthur. But now the FAA wants to move 30 of the 176 air traffic controllers to Philadelphia. Senator Chuck Schumer says the employees want to stay here on Long Island. and he is fighting the move.
These folks have established their roots in Long Island. Their children go to schools in Long Island. Their spouses have jobs on Long Island.
The FAA says the number of authorized controllers at TRACON is not changing, and they're meeting all collective bargaining agreements. But at least one controller says because his young daughter has cerebral palsy, the move would be devastating because of the treatments she receives on Long Island. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Nassau County, Long Island.
All right, guys, thank you so much for viewing and listening to the news with me. And we'll see you on the next video.